Hey everyone, this is Sarah. I am teaching drawing today, so welcome to the Art Live lesson. We are doing a little bit of an animal theme this week, so today we are going to draw a penguin family. Um, there is some color in this. It's mostly black and white, but there's a little bit of red. If you don't have like a red colored pencil or something like that, or if you don't have the set that I'm using, that's okay. It doesn't have to be in the picture, but I just wanted to give you that heads up. To go over the supplies that we're going to be using today. So I've got this pencil set, the Gioconda Koh-i-Noor pencil set. Inside the set, we've got, you can tell this is loved. We've got graphite pencils, lead pencils, and charcoal, and then we have what's called sepia tones, and we'll be using the sepia tones just a tiny bit today. Like I said, you can actually use like a red colored pencil, and I'll talk about that when you get to that point. I have the stick versions of these colors, a blender, which we will be using, and I highly recommend that you get one of these even if you don't have like a nice pencil set. Blenders are pretty inexpensive. You can get them from any craft store or Walmart. Target may even have them in the craft section, but they are pretty inexpensive. What it is it's wrapped newsprint, and it just helps you spread things around to give it a more even tone. This has this is a kneaded eraser, which means you can bend it and mold it the way you want it to go. It's good for getting little tiny points. I also have a regular eraser. I like rubber erasers. So this is like a broken one, but I use that. A pencil sharpener, because you don't know when you're going to need one of those. And I'm not going to be using these, but I wanted to show you that this is a number 2 pencil. If this is what you have, then that is perfectly okay. I will talk as we go through of what you would do differently if you were using a number 2 pencil. I want art to be accessible to anyone. So if you have a number 2 pencil and you have a sheet of paper, you can draw. So this is just a fancier version of a number 2 pencil. It's called an HB, but that's what a number 2 is. So this is just like an art pencil. It's just a little bit higher quality. That's the only difference. All right, I have a drawing pad. I use 9x12. You can really use any size as long as it's rectangular, because that's the shape of our drawing. So it'll be easier to get proportions if you've got a rectangular shape. But I use 9x12, and we'll go ahead and open this up. Now, if you want to protect your pages from where, like if you draw something, the next page might actually have like indentations. So when you go to draw, like say a landscape, I don't want indentations of penguins showing up. So what you can do is you can put a piece of cardboard. What's really handy, you can actually take the back off and put the cardboard inside, underneath. But of course now you don't have a back, so it's just something to think about. What I usually do is if I have like an old sketchbook that I'm not using anymore, I'll take the back off of that one. Okay, so that's the supplies. Now, it's really good to work from a reference photo. And so today's reference photo I have posted in my Discord channel, the ArtShare Discord channel, which is right here. At the bottom of my screen, you can see that there's a link here. If you are on my main Twitch page, if you scroll down, there should be a link to my Discord channel there. You can go ahead, go in, sign up if you need to, and take a look at today's reference photo, which will be of penguins. So let's go ahead and get started without further ado. So we're going to start with a 2B pencil. Number 2 pencil if that's what you're using, but 2B is a little bit softer than a number 2. So I'm going to get that. And we're going to start out, we've got a little baby penguin at the bottom of the page. So we're going to start out with our baby. So first and foremost, we want to get an idea of where everything's going to be on the page. So I'm looking at the reference photo. Mine is on my screen. And the baby starts just a little under halfway. So I'm just going to draw just a kind of a little, very light line. I'm going to hold that up so you guys can see, because it is that light that you can barely see it. I mean, even when I hold it up, you can hardly see it. Okay. So my little baby penguin starts just a little bit lower than that. And he starts like a little bit above the bottom. So I'm going to start by doing an oval shape. That. And then I'm going to do a little round shape. That's his head. And then I'm just going to connect those with kind of a sloping line. Excuse me just a minute. It seems like only when I get on stream is when my nose decides to get drippy. It's not drippy, like literally the rest of the week. It's only when I'm about to stream. It's Murphy's Law. Okay. So I'm keeping this pretty light. And you'll notice we're starting with the 2B pencil. 2B is the easiest to erase, other than a number 2 pencil, but a 2B out of all of the different pencils we have in the set is the easiest one to erase. So even though I'm working light, I still want to use something that can be easily erased. Okay. So now we are going to draw the general outline of our larger penguins, the mom and the dad. So what we have is kind of a long S shape. It's a really funky S if this is an S shape. Okay. Remember, whenever you'll hear me say it in every chat, probably, every stream, several times a stream. Blow, don't wipe, because if you wipe, a lot of the pencils that we're using are smearable. So, I'll mention it several times. I'll remind you. Okay, so we've got this shape over here. Now, we're going to do the other shape. I'm starting at the bottom this time because this shape, maybe that comes a little too far over. This one is going to be curved around and it's going to come down. Now the beak itself does not come all the way down to the baby's head. So if you notice that in the reference drawing. All right, so now we're going to place that. Once you have these lines, I'll go ahead and give you guys just a second to get these lines, because I probably draw a little bit faster than you guys, just from practice. I've been doing this a very long time, so my sketches tend to be much quicker. Actually, while you're drawing, I'll go ahead and tell you, it's the best thing. I always tell my students, just go out and draw, because the more you do it, the faster you're going to get, and the more accurate you're going to get. So that's important. Okay, so we've got, I'm going to go ahead and draw in the head, the heads rather, of the two penguins. So we've got kind of a head here, and we've got head up here, got some funky shaped heads going on. I would say this is the mom, but you know what? I don't know, because I think dads like carry the eggs. So, you know, could be the dad. I don't know. All right. So once you get the heads in place, we're going to actually draw our ground at the bottom. Just to give them something to stand on. All right, so right in the middle of the baby's stomach, let's go ahead and just draw a very light line. And this is where our wings are going to come out. So we're just going to draw like some kind of loopy, like a V. So it's like a V shape that comes out. This is kind of reminding me of Baymax from Big Hero 6. Just like those poofy arms that just kind of are out to the side. All right, now we can erase some of our middle lines that we have drawn here. All right. It's already looking so cute. I don't know what it is about penguins. They just... have big market share in cuteness. All right. So once you get the wings drawn in, now we're going to do kind of a V shape right on the chest of the penguin. It doesn't have to go all the way to the edges. All right. Now we're going to draw in a little line that goes right across the bottom of the baby's head. And this is actually going to be the basis for the shape of our face. So from this, we're going to draw a circle that's inside the head. Like so, you'll have a little bit, I'm going to hold it up so you can see it, but you're going to have a little bit of a gap between the outside shape and this circle that we're drawing. So see how there's like a little bit of a gap there. This is going to give us, because the face, the outside of the baby penguin's face is black. It's like got a little black band around it. And so the inside is white. So that's what we're doing, is we're creating that. All right. Okay. Now we're going to draw the wings of the mom and dad. So this is going to be two basically very interesting V shapes. So we're going to start, let's see. So one of the wings comes just below the baby's head. So I'm just drawing a little line like right here from kind of the middle of the head, just lightly so I can get the idea. And we've got one line that kind of curves up, and then it's like a rounded V. It'll come out a little bit, and then it's going to turn and curve up with the, maybe a little bit sooner than that. This might actually be the hardest part of the drawing, believe it or not. All right, so we've got this wing. We can fix the shape of that later. We just want to get that in there. The other one comes down to the middle of the V on the chest. So I'm just drawing like a little line out there. So we're going to get our first curve in there. We're going to do our rounded V at the bottom. So it comes up. Then tilts back in, just like this one did, but it's going the other way now. There we go. Now I'm going to erase these little lines that gave us our starting point. And I'll give you guys just a minute to get that shape down. And I'm going to take a drink of water while you're doing that. Excuse me. Okay. So we're going to start kind of refining our shapes. So first we're going to refine the head of the left penguin. So it kind of curves around. There's like a little bit of a U, like a dip there. And then there's also a little dip in the back. So see, like, it's not very much, but it's enough to where it does change the shape of the penguin. There we go. All right, then I'm going to bring this curve around and give it, we're going to come down on the other side of the head here and do like a curved kind of a rainbow, very slight arch there. Like that. And so you're just coming right down to that head. So I'm continuing it around. Now I notice that the belly of this penguin kind of runs into the arm of the baby. So I'm going to go ahead and start from this line. That gives me a better idea of where my line should meet. And we can go ahead and erase out this head because we don't need that shape there anymore. It did what it needed to do. Okay. Then this continues under the arm of the baby. Just comes straight. Well, it's not really straight down. It continues at that same curve. We're not going to worry about the feet right now. All right, so let's define the other penguin. So we've got the head, we've got this line. Let's do the same thing. We're going to make like a very shallow dip in the neck and erase out that top line. And for anyone new coming on, I just want to remind you that if you go to my Discord server, that I have a reference photo, today's image of the penguin family up in Discord. You can also click on the Discord link on my main Twitch page. If you just scroll down a little bit, you'll see that. All right, so we've got this curve here. We've got one more curve, and that's just in the back. So it's just going to slightly curve here. I don't actually like that curve. Hang on. I feel like for me that's too much of a curve. I'm going to fix that. So there is a slight curve there, but it is not much of one. That's better. It is not much. Okay, so let's go ahead and capture this. So I'm going to come down. I'm going to actually make the curve of this beak a little bit more defined. So I'll erase that so you guys can see that better. So all I did was I just came down a little bit closer to the side of the head circle. And then just made like kind of an S curve. And then the beak will curve back up to the head. And then kind of continue around. Now we can erase the head. Circle that we made before. There we go. All right, let's finish the body. So it comes out right about here. And I'm going to do the same thing like I did with the other one. I noticed that it starts right about here. Okay, now this one does something kind of fun. So you get a little bit down. Then we actually have, starting from the bottom, just a scooped line that represents the I guess it would be the leg of the penguin. Okay, and from the bottom of the baby's arm comes the other leg. Now, something I'm noticing when I'm looking at this is that this is a little bit too far from the baby. We might have to fix that at a different point. Let's just keep working. And let me see. So let's see, there's a couple of things I can do. I can actually, it's not terrible. All right. It's okay. It's okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start defining the inside shapes. So first, well, the feet shapes we're going to do at the bottom. So we're going to draw like a triangle coming up from the base of this penguin, the one on the left. So first we're going to draw a triangle on this side. We're going to draw a triangle coming up from the foot that's closest to us. And then we're going to do another one that comes a little bit farther. So this gives us our layers of feet. We're going to give a little, baby is going to get a little V, a little rounded V right in the middle. And that's what we're going to do for now. All right, now what we're going to do is lightly create the areas that are going to be black on the penguin. All right, so first of all, we've got from the beak, we've got an area that comes down like the almost like the sides of the mouth. I feel like that comes down too far. There we go. And we're going to put an eye shape in, which is all this is going to be is an oval. This penguin's looking up, so it's an oval right there. And then right at the bottom, where the head would have been, we're going to have kind of a jagged line. So if you can still see your kind of rounded area there, just have like a zigzag there. Underneath the zigzag, we've got just like an angled line going towards the neck. And then this is going to have a curved line that's going to connect to the top of that wing there. Coming from behind the wing, we're going to just curve around with the shape of the wing for a little bit. And then it's going to curve down towards the back, but not all the way. Then starting with the, like, right where the foot meets, we're going to curve up and meet that. So it's almost a diagonal line going this way, but then it just curves towards the end to meet that line. All right, so that's the left penguin. Sorry, there is a little space here. We're just going to create a little V. Just a light V there. Okay. Right penguin. So first and foremost, we get its eye in there. And you want the eye to be almost to the beak. It's like just inside where the headline would have been, like where that circle was. And again, you're following the head shape from before, if you can still lightly see it. It's going to be a jagged line. And then this curves around the back. Okay. Now, this to me looks like a weird sickle, but it's like a curved shape. Do not know how to describe it. Just try your best to mimic this shape. Almost a question mark, maybe. It's almost a little like a question mark. There. It's a very funky looking question mark. To me, it almost looks like a, I'm not sure, a staple or something. Okay. We're going to continue the back of the wing here. It just comes up, curves up a little bit. And from under the wing, we have a little line. And then we're going to come straight down, like literally straight down. And start to curve in a little bit. And you're going to meet this back mark here that we made earlier. Yep, I'm super not happy with where this is. So I am going to erase some lines because I want to go ahead and get this fixed now. So depending on where yours is, you may or may not care. Like yours might be closer, but I need my leg to be thicker. Almost out to here. So I'm just moving that line over a little bit. I'm going to keep the feet in the same area where they were. So see, even art teachers can get their proportions off a little bit sometimes. It happens. So what's going to happen though, because of this, is it is going to move, not much, but it's going to move my front foot forward. We'll just, so it goes now into the baby's arm a little bit, which is different than the picture, the reference photo, but it looks more realistic, and I would rather have it look more realistic. Okay. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time to catch up, and mostly because I just changed a bunch of stuff. So I want you to catch up so that you can make those changes too if you'd like, or if you want to just leave yours the way it is, that's fine. Remember, blow, don't wipe. We are going to do the baby's head next, and then we're ready to use our darker pencils. Okay. So for the baby's head, we're going to come up and bring our the body line just up a little bit and curve around. Now the bottom of this white area is a little closer, so I erased the bottom of my circle that I had there. And there we go. Okay. For the penguin's face, it's going to curve up. And then it has this like block right in the middle of its face. Just redraw that line there so you can see it. Okay. Now once you have everything drawn, we're going to use oh, you know what I forgot? Hold on. I forgot the mouth part here. And maybe we can do like a little all I did was just like a little kind of slightly pointed, like a tiny little hill there. All right, so we are going to use our graphite pencils. If you are using this set, it'll be your Silky Black #1. This is our darkest graphite. Now we're going to be really careful, this is important, really careful to color inside the lines, because this is dark and it's very hard to erase. So it's important. Now, if you're using a number 2 pencil, all you're going to do is press a little harder. Again, it's still going to be difficult to erase though. So it's important that you could also use a black pencil. If you have colored pencils, you could use a black pencil for this. Do not use charcoal because charcoal is a little bit too blendy for what it is that we're doing right now. But you can use a colored pencil. So first I'm going to start by outlining the head. You can see how much darker that is. Now I just noticed mine needs to be sharpened a little bit. Okay. Being careful. Okay, now with the eyes, what we're going to do is we're going to draw another smaller arch right inside of the eye. And mostly color that in. You can leave a little bit of white. Okay. Now, we're going to go ahead and color it in. Again, be very careful to stay inside your lines. We're shading the head. And I just work from top to bottom. Being very careful not to go inside my lines. Outside my lines, I guess. I'm staying inside the lines. So this is great for my rule number 2. I haven't mentioned my classroom rules in a while, but number 1 rule is clean workspace. Number 2 rule is don't rush. And it's super important when you're an artist. It's really important not to rush. My number 1 rule is number 1 for a reason. It's really important to have a clean workspace. I can't stress that enough. As an artist, it helps your mind. It helps your mind stay clutter-free. It helps your space stay clutter-free. It can save you from horrible, horrible accidents. Okay, we're going to do the other head the same way. Be very careful. So, number 2 is don't rush. Take your time. There's no sense in rushing your artwork and messing up something that you've been working on. And my number 3 rule is no disparaging the art or the artist, and that includes yourself. I run a positive classroom, and it's really important, I think, as an artist that you learn to talk positively to yourself. It doesn't mean you're going to say, oh, everything's great, that looks wonderful. That's not what I mean. It means constructive. Tell yourself what's effective, what's working, what you should keep doing. And then also tell yourself, Here's what I want to work on in the future. Here's what I want to change. Here's what I want to add. Those kinds of things. That is positive, effective feedback that you can give yourself, rather than saying this is terrible, this is awful, or even this is great, this is wonderful. I mean, that's not very helpful either. Neither one is. Okay, so I'm ready to start coloring in. So those are my 3 rules. I kind of tentatively have a 4th rule, which is to have fun, but hopefully you're doing that already. Hopefully you love to do art, but just remember that it is fun. I mean, yes, if you become a professional artist, you have to do it for your job. It becomes a little less fun. I mean, you can still enjoy it, but, you know, when you have deadlines and clients that you have to work with and that kind of stuff, it can become a chore for sure. I still enjoy it though, but it just adds another layer of stress to it. Just remember to have fun. Just remember to enjoy what you do, no matter what it is. If you find yourself not loving something anymore and you're not enjoying what you do, figure out why. Is it because of like a certain person you're working with, or is it because of you know, the environment that you're in, what have you? Figure that out, because if you're not enjoying what you do, then you know, your work day is a third of your day, and one of the other thirds is sleeping. So, you know, it's important that you enjoy what you do, because when you come home and you have that 1/3 left to just be away from work, and that counts morning time too, you don't want to be thinking about how terrible work's going to be or how awful it was earlier than in the day. You don't want to be thinking about that stuff. So you should definitely be doing what you enjoy. Okay. Now we're going to move to our number 3 silky black pencil, our graphite. Lead. I'm going to sharpen mine. If you are using a number 2 pencil, you're going to bring your pressure up slightly. Same thing if you are using a colored pencil. You're just going to release your pressure a little bit and not color in so dark. This is a little bit softer. And we're going to shade the bodies of the penguins. So still consider the lines. I sharpened mine a little too much. That can happen. So now my lines are a lot more sketchy because it makes it more difficult to draw a straight line. Huh. Okay. Now this I'm going to very loosely draw. I'm not going to press very hard at all. Except for the end here. So I often have my younger students repeat my classroom rules periodically throughout the lesson. right. We're going to go ahead and start shading this in. You can see this is considerably lighter. We're going to darken some of these areas. So now I'm doing much broader strokes because we're doing bigger areas, but when you get to your edges, get slower again so that you can make sure that you're not going over your lines. You really want to keep these lines. Because I'm drawing with my pencil at an angle, it's going to start to shape to an angle, which actually makes it easier to draw at an angle because now it's shaped that way, but eventually you're going to want to just shift the pencil around to have it start shaping the other direction. So I'm going to continue shading this in with our spreader. So I'm working just on the left penguin for now. I'm not going to focus yet on the right penguin or the baby. And you can feel free at the bottom of the penguin because these are feathers to give it some like extra little lines. You can see where I've just let it be yeah, kind of feathery. That was the best word I could come up with, feathery. Okay, so when you're using your spreader, if you are going to be using a set where you have different colored markers, pencils. Wow, Sarah. Okay, let me just take a drink of water. You want your spreader to have a black side, and in our case, it's a sepia side. I haven't used my sepia yet, so this doesn't have any color on it, but I've been trying to keep it from using the black. The reason why is because when you go to shade something, if it's got black on it and you want to shade something red, it's going to dull your red and maybe even put black streaks in it, which of course we don't want. So we're just coming here with the spreader. Just very lightly blending everything together. So what the spreader does is it gets the pencil marks into all the little tiny white spaces that to our eyes are blending. So it's just looking like a lighter color. But in reality, our pencil skips over areas. It doesn't reach, paper has like little teeth in it, little tiny teeth. And so the pencil only hits the top of the teeth. So this is getting down inside those teeth. And that's why it looks darker. Because in a way it is darker. I mean, you're actually filling the entire paper with the color that you were intending it to be. Okay. I'm going to use the number 1 again, and I'm just going to come in along the back of the bird very carefully. Now it was important that we do the number 3 first, because it's going to be so much easier to blend the two shades, the darker shade and the lighter shade. What we're doing is we're making our penguin look rounded because it's darker in the back. We're going to be coming in here with our spreader and blending everything. But I just want to get this done first. So I'm just coming in the front of the wing. And then the whole bottom part of the wing. Is darker. Now be aware, you'll notice I'm starting to get like some marks on the side of my hand that's touching. Since I work left to right because I'm right-handed, but occasionally you have to cross back over, and so just be aware of that. If it's really a concern, you can put something underneath your hand while you're doing this, a piece of paper, piece of newsprint, something like that. It still might smear it a little bit, but it's less likely to, because your hand will move more smoothly over a paper. Okay. Now we're going to take our spreader and we're going to start in the head. Don't forget to be careful around the eye. Oops. So I'm just blending down here where I went in and added some of the darker shade. Okay. It's pretty good. All right. Excuse me. We're more than halfway done. So normally I would take a little stretch break, and we can do it just a quick, just sit up straight, a little sun salutation, which is where you bring your hands over your head, look up, bring them together like this. Bring it to your heart center. Just take a really deep breath. I usually do a little bit more involved stretching, but since we're doing pretty good on time, I think we can just keep moving. Okay. Now, the baby. No, wait, you know what? I think I'm going to do the other adult penguin. So let's get our number 3, or if you're using a number 2 pencil, just don't press as hard. See where my hand was, I got some marks there. Okay. So like we did with the heads, we're just going to outline. All right, shading in. I always try to shade in the direction of whatever it is I'm doing. So right now I'm trying to shade, like this is the shape of the back, so I'm trying to shade in that direction. I'm noticing this is a little bit more choppy than this one was, but hopefully the spreader will take care of that. You can just see where I've got like choppy marks. The spreader should take care of it. It's not as long of strokes, that's why it looks like that. Alright, so now we're going to get this spreader and we're going to blend all of this. Remember, I'm using the black side of my spreader. And some of those choppy marks I was talking about earlier should get taken care of. When I blend everything. We shall see. So spreaders, you should be able to sharpen them just like you can a regular pencil. So you put it in the sharpener and it will take the top layer of paper off. I don't ever really do that. I just keep using it, but sometimes you want it to be sharper than it is because it does get dull. And this is blending this in, so you can see. All right, now we're going to go in just like we did on this side. We're going to go in with our number 1. If you're using a number 2 pencil, you just press a little bit harder. So the number 1 Silky Black, which is our lead, I'm going to outline the back. Alright, and then it's going to be dark at the bottom like our other one, and I just am doing upward strokes to give the approximation of feathers. Again, be careful to stay in your lines. So I'm going to darken this area. And then I'm going to come along the back, just like I did on the other penguin, where we're just making it darker along the back. And as you come further out into the gray area, you just lightly let your pencil up and it will blend. And of course we're going to catch it with the spreader too, and that will help blend even more. Penguin, it's giving me problems because he's bending over, or she's bending over. I don't know. It could be the mom. I just don't know. All right. So that weird staple shape or whatever it is going to be dark. I don't know what that shape is. Oh, hi, Teacher Margot. Sorry, I haven't really been paying attention to chat, so I don't know how long ago you wrote that. Hopefully not too long. Normally I'm trying to pay attention to chat, and today I just haven't been doing a great job of it. You can ask questions anytime. And eventually I'll answer, apparently. Okay, so this wing is not as dark as this other one. This other one was was completely dark. This one is mostly dark around the outside. And then you just blend, and like I said, you just gradually get lighter with your pencil as you get towards the middle. And it's going to be dark on the bottom side. What this does is this actually makes the wing look bent. Haha, yes, stay in the lines. Stay in your lane. That's right. And then this curved area in the back here is dark. And that shows the shape of the wing. Okay, let's see. We have a little bit of dark in the front here. Not too much, just a little bit. And now we're going to blend. So don't forget, we've got to blend the head too. I'm going to do the body first. Okay, get that wing in there. Okay, and then we're going to blend the head. And I'm being very careful where to place my hand because I don't want to place it right on top of everything we just drew. Lead is harder to erase. So I'm just blending everything in the head, and then we're almost completely done with the adults. We'll just do a little bit of shading and we'll get the red in there. Again, if you have a colored pencil, like a red colored pencil, I highly suggest you get it. Otherwise, if you have the set, or you can just leave it, that's fine too. Okay. Last but not least, we have the baby, the little baby. So, baby penguin, we're going to start with our number 3. And with the 3, we're going to shade in this V here. I'm just doing kind of a, like I'm just coloring over it and making it a thicker V. You don't have to go very hard. And he's got like some little chesticles here. It's a very cute baby. Okay. I'm not normally a baby kind of person, but baby animals, you just can't go wrong. Baby non-human animals. Baby humans are all right. They whine a lot. Okay. So I'm just coming in here at the bottom of the penguin and continuing this V up, but I'm going to get lighter once I go higher in the V. So I'm just going very lightly. On both sides. So see how I let it be darker at the bottom. What you can always do is go light and then just go in over it darker. All right. It curves in a little bit around the sides there. And then very, very lightly, I'm just going to color in this whole area in the middle there. We'll be using our blender, so don't worry about that. All right, so get the blender, starting at the bottom where we started, and just come up and shade. And I'm letting it be kind of streaky because babies have new little down feathers, so they kind of look streaky. So that's okay. Alright. I'm going to put a little bit of shading right here. I'm just using just on the underneath of the wings. Just using my spreader to do that. Okay, we're going to spread up here at the top. Alright, now we're getting the number 1 or just press hard if you're using the number 2 pencil. So we're getting our number 1 Silky Black. Very carefully, again, we're staying in our lane, drawing inside the lines. We're going to outline the area that's black. So around the top of the head. Remember, this part is difficult to erase, so it's really important to be careful. Now, before we start coloring in, we're going to leave just a little bit, like kind of just a little circle of white on the nose. And then go ahead and start coloring in. For his little beak. Okay. Now, 2 little tiny, and if you need to sharpen your pencil, in fact, I'm going to, we just want 2 little tiny dots for the eyes. So. All right. Now we got to finish the feet. So they have like kind of claws, right? Like their talons. So it's going to come up. We've already got one line here. Then it's just going to, from that line, and I'm still using the number 1 or pressing hard, it's just going to come up and go back like that. Then you'll have another one that comes down and shade that in, and that's it. Okay, we're going to do the same with the other side. So you just outline that triangle. You'll have one shape that comes up, and you've got another one comes in, and then shade that in like that. One more foot. Okay. Now we're gonna blend the baby's head because we haven't blended that yet. Hello, little baby. I'm blending your head. I do actually talk like this when I'm doing artwork by myself, so yeah, I'm a weirdo. It's okay. I feel like it makes my artwork better. I'm just coming in with my dirty spreader here. I'm just coming in the middle. All right, now we got to give them shadows. So I'm just going to put some shadow right here underneath whichever penguin this is, mom or dad. A little shadow under baby. No, baby's now on the ground and not floating in midair. And then shadow under whichever one this is. Not the other one. Not the mama. you guys get that reference, you know you're older. Okay. Let's see. We'll have a little bit of shadow here on the penguin. And just use your shader, your spreader rather. And you just very, very lightly. This whole leg is in shadow because it's underneath, right? So it's going to come up. There's some shadow back here where the feathers are over. There's a little shadow under the neck. I think that's it. All right, now, okay. We need to put our markings, our red chalk. So if you have a colored pencil, a red colored pencil, you can use that and just be very light with it. Pink will also work. If you have this set, it is the one called red chalk. Let's see if I can, red chalk, that's hard to see in the gold, but anyway. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a few things here. One, we're going to color in the mouth area. Then we're going to very lightly color in like a little triangular patch right there in this area that's created. The same thing over here. And I'm turning my book because I don't want to get my hand on this. Now we're going to spread this. Okay. So remember, I said to use your spreader that you have a red side and a black side. So we're going to use the red side now. So I'm finally going to get some red on my red side because I haven't used red in any drawings with this particular pencil set. So now I'm using my spreader and I'm just going to continue that out so that it gets lighter and lighter pink. I am not going to touch the inside here. That's just a little too close to the black. I'll end up getting black on my spreader and I'll be upset. So we're not going to do that. So something I'm noticing, I think my little baby needs to be a little chubbier at the bottom because these are his feet. These are his legs that are coming in. So while you guys are working on that, I'm going to use my number 3 and I'm just going to make him just a little chunkier. Yeah, he's a little chunk-a-monk. Okay. If you want, you can get some individual feathers in there. Just some like streaky lines. You can do that over here too, if you want. I say that this is done. I don't see anything else that needs to be done. So what we're going to do is sign it. I'm going to go back and get my 2B pencil. I like to sign mine in the bottom right hand corner. And now we're going to do a little critique. Actually, I can tell you right now by looking at this. I'm using my number 3. And I'm coming in here. I want this to be just a little darker in here. Okay. Using my number 1. I'm trying very hard not to touch my paper in any places where it's going to smear. We don't want smearing. Okay. So now it's ready for critique. I went ahead and fixed those places so that I don't have to address them in critique, because I would have. Okay. Now I could go in and smooth this in. Why not? Why not? Since I said it, gotta do it. Can't be lazy. Alright, here we go. So, the way I do my critiques is kind of like what I said before, where you say one thing that's really effective about your drawing, and then you say one thing that you feel like could use some work that maybe you would do differently in a future drawing. And I do encourage you to rewatch the videos and to redo these drawings. Okay, so what's really working for me, especially the left penguin, but is my 2 parent penguins. I think those are they both look really great. I think that it's effective. It looks realistic. I'm pretty happy with that, how that turned out. What is not working is my baby. I think I didn't really get my proportions right. He should be a little cuter, maybe a little bit more rounded head. I'm not entirely sure what went wrong here, but I think it's just mostly my proportions. So that's something I'll work on next time. I'll just work on, I think baby should be just a tiny bit shorter, like maybe end right about there. And I think that would make it look kind of cuter because it'd be shorter, but still fat, which is very cute. So that's what I think about mine. Now, if you are watching live, you can actually go to Discord and you can upload your drawing. Teacher Margot, since you're online, did you by any chance get to do today's drawing along with me? And would you be able to upload and we can critique live? If not, that's okay. I know you said you were running errands earlier, so. Teacher Margot is a dear friend of mine. She is also a teacher, not an art teacher, although she probably could be because she's pretty fun. But I think that's like the main criteria for being an art teacher, is that you have to be fun. But anyway, she is a kindergarten teacher, and also she teaches English to children in China, so that's pretty cool. So I don't know if she finished her drawing or not. We shall find out. Hoping that she did, but anyway, the way I normally work is you join my Discord channel. You can upload your photo. You just take a picture with your phone, upload it directly into the app, and I prefer if you go ahead and say one thing that you think is working and one thing you think needs, to change, or that you could add or do differently next time. And then I will do my own critique on it, as well as I encourage other students to do a critique as well, just as long as there's no bashing the artwork. That's the most thing, even your own. We keep a very positive classroom. So, but I encourage you to upload your artwork. Other students have uploaded their work before, and you can see that if you go out there. You can go and see other works. If you want to join and you're not doing the work that I'm you're not following me, but you have your own artwork. I've got several digital artists that have uploaded work that I've critiqued, but I don't have to critique it if you don't want my critique. You just want to share and and show other people what you're working on, that would be great too. It's just a site for everyone to bring their work together and be artists in the same area and support each other. So I'm going to go ahead and assume, since there's nothing posting and teacher Margot is not responding, that that she was not able to follow me with the drawing. So we're going to go ahead and end the stream. I will remind you guys that this Friday we are going to be doing an acrylic painting. I'm sticking with the black and white animal theme. We're going to be doing an orca. And in fact, hold on, I've done this class before, so let me show you. I happen to have it hanging on my wall. So this is what we're going to be doing. Oop, there we go. This is what we're going to be doing on Friday. So this is from a previous painting class. I've done this one before. I really like it. So acrylic painting on Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. That is 11 p.m. UTC. So please join me, and I look forward to it, and you guys have a great week. Thanks.